Ma'am, step away from the child, please. The command rang out across the upscale Beverly Hills ice cream cafe like a shot. Naomi froze in mid-sentence, her vanilla cone leaking onto the napkin. Her 6-year-old daughter, Leia, gripped her hand tighter, eyes wide and confused. "Excuse me, what?" Naomi said, blinking as she faced the two officers blocking them. "We got a report of a potential child abduction. We need to confirm your relationship to the girl," the taller officer said, already pulling out his notepad. The cafe fell quiet. Only the low whir of the espresso machine and the uneasy whispers of onlookers filled the air. A few people raised their phones to record, others just stared. In the corner, a white woman wearing designer sunglasses and perfectly coiffed blonde hair lowered her phone and smiled. "Mommy, what's happening?" Leia asked in a trembling whisper. Naomi's heart raced. "Not again. Not here. Not with my daughter watching. This is my child," Naomi said, steady though inside she burned. "Exactly what are you accusing me of?" The younger officer shifted, uncomfortable. "Ma'am, we're just following procedure." Someone called and said. "Said what?" Naomi cut in, her eyes flashing. That a black woman couldn't possibly be the mother of a light-skinned child. The cafe seemed to inhale sharply. Naomi crouched to Leia's height. "Baby, remember what Mommy taught you? Sometimes people get the wrong idea about our family. But we know who we are." She rose, dignity filling her posture. "If you need to verify, call my husband now." The officers exchanged uneasy looks. "I already showed you my driver's license and Leia's school ID. What else do you need?" Naomi's patience was thinning. Across the cafe, the blonde woman said loudly to another patron, "That child doesn't look like her. Human trafficking is everywhere now." Naomi shut her eyes briefly. She had heard versions of this all her life at school functions, at the pediatrician's office, in supermarkets where strangers assumed she was the babysitter. "Mommy, can I sit with you?" Leia asked again. "Not yet, sweetheart. The officers have to talk to Mommy first," Naomi replied with a forced smile. Inside, she felt like breaking. The officer spoke into his radio to request backup for verification. Naomi dialed her husband. "Blake, come to the Fairfax ice cream parlor right now." Someone called the police. "They think I kidnapped our daughter." A brief pause on the line. Then, "I'll be there in 10 minutes. Don't say another word until I get there." When Blake Henderson entered, the cafe door swung wide. At 6 feet 2 inches with sandy brown hair and the bearing of a corporate leader, he strode straight to Naomi and Leia. "What on earth is happening?" he demanded. "Sir, we received a call. I know what you got. My question is why my wife and daughter are being treated like criminals for eating ice cream." Blake's hand found Naomi's protective, intimate, unmistakable. "Daddy." Leia ran into his arms. He scooped her up. "Are you all right, princess?" "They wouldn't let me sit with Mommy," she whispered. Blake's jaw tightened. "You separated a 6-year-old from her mother? On what grounds?" The officer motioned toward the empty table the caller had already left. A concerned citizen reported suspicious activity. "Suspicious activity?" Blake repeated slowly. "My wife, Dr. Naomi Henderson, taking our daughter out for ice cream, that's suspicious?" He faced the officers. "My wife holds a doctorate in child psychology from Harvard. She runs a children's mental health program at Cedars-Sinai. She's authored 3 books on child development. And you treated her like a criminal because some stranger didn't approve of our family's appearance." Blake drew his phone out. "I'm calling my attorney. I'm calling the chief of police. I'm calling every news desk in Los Angeles. This stops right now." 20 minutes later, the cafe looked like a scene from an investigation, but the only wrongdoing was bias. Naomi's lawyer arrived, the police supervisor arrived, and news cameras showed up. Naomi sat with Leia, shielding her from the frenzy. The supervisor spoke carefully. "Dr. Henderson, I'd like to apologize for this misunderstanding." Naomi looked up, voice hard. This wasn't a misunderstanding. This was racial profiling, plain and simple. She produced documents, Leia's birth certificate, family photographs, pediatric records, even IVF paperwork. "This is my daughter biologically, legally, and in every way that matters. I carried her 9 months. I was in labor for 14 hours. I've been her mother every single day of her life. And you let a stranger's racist assumptions humiliate me in public." She inhaled, composed. "We have the right to exist in public without proving our relationships to strangers. This isn't just about us. It's about every mixed-race family, every adoptive family, every family that doesn't fit someone's expectations. The video spread across social media within hours. By morning, the caller was identified and her career began to unravel. Naomi didn't seek revenge, she wanted justice. The next day at home, she looked at her daughter. "How are you feeling, baby?" "I'm okay, Mommy," Leah answered softly. "But I don't get why that lady was angry at us." Naomi held her tight. "Some people choose to see danger where there is love. But remember, this love wins. And justice will too."